we have a new archetype to take a look at, and it is from Chaos Origin as well. Now, I will say, even before we read this, it feels like to me that they are introducing more new archetypes in core sets again, that are like completely new. I feel like they've been focusing more on legacy support in core sets recently, and now we're getting this completely new archetype in Chaos Origin, which is like, I guess the sacred beasts that we looked at are not technically a completely new archetype, but they do feel like a completely new archetype as well. But okay. This archetype is called Blitzclique, and it is a Thunder Earth themed archetype. And we're starting things off with Whiska Blitzclique, level 8, 3000 attack, 2400 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If a card was destroyed by your Blitzclique card effect this turn, quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand, special up to 3 Thunder monsters from your hand. Special up to 3 Thunder monsters from your hand, then you can destroy up to the same number of cards on the field. Also, you cannot special summon effect monsters for the rest of this turn except from the hand. Ooh, that is a harsh lock. That is a very, very harsh lock. That means no extra deck summons at all. And also nothing from the deck. You can, nothing from deck, nothing from grave. You can just summon from hand. That is a harsh restriction for this archetype. Damn, okay. When a monster effect is activated, except in the hand, quick effect, you can return one other Thunder monster you control to the hand, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the activating monster. Okay. Now, both of these effects are quick effects, so they are pretty premium interruptions, honestly. And if there's other quick effects in the mix, this could even be turn 0 interruptions. But yeah, this card is very dependent on the rest of the archetype, I suppose, because, you know, it depends on how easy is it to destroy cards with Blitzclique effects, and then it's gonna be a pretty good card if it's easy to do that. Surge Blitzclique, level 4 Earth Thunder, 1800 attack. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Reveal this card in your hand, then target a monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do, special a Thunder from your hand. Also, you cannot special effect monsters for the rest of this turn except from the hand. Ooh, I love that card. Can you guess why I love that card? I love that card because it gets better going second. This card is ridiculous going second. And going first is just fine, I guess. Yeah, it destroys any monster on the field, so this is a board breaker. But then going first, you do want to destroy cards with your Blitzclique effect. So sometimes I suppose it's going to be good to destroy your own cards with this as well. It is not a quick effect. Of course, if it was a quick effect, it'd be pretty broken. But it still is a card that helps you break boards because you can just reveal it, target a monster your opponent controls, and pop it. And get a summon. If another card on the field is destroyed by card effect while this monster is on the field, you can add a Blitzclique monster from your deck to your hand. Okay. So, yeah, you pop a monster on the board, you special summon it. I mean, you can special summon any other one as well. They don't have to summon themselves. They can summon the other ones. You can keep it in your hand if you want to. But then if it is on the field, if you can trigger it again to search a card. Okay, that seems decent. Crack Blitzclique. Earth Thunder level 3, 1500 attack. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field during their turn, quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand, destroy that monster, and if you do, special summon a Thunder from your hand. Also, you cannot special effect monster for the rest of this turn except from the hand. If another card is destroyed by a card effect while this is on the field, you can send a Blitzclique spell trap from your deck to the grave. Okay, hold on a second. If I draw Crack plus Whiska, I got crazy interruptions, right? So I'm going second, right? My opponent starts playing, I go, and then when they activate a monster effect, I use Crack to destroy it and pop it, right? To destroy it and summon a Thunder from hand, which is okay. That's not that crazy as like a hand trap destroying a monster that act. That's like Ghost Ogre. That's like Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit type of interruption, right? You're just popping a monster. It's not that crazy. You can summon a Thunder from your hand. If you summon itself, it doesn't do anything immediately. But like, you know, one pop, fine. But if you draw it together with Whisker, that's crazy. Because a card has been destroyed by a Blitzclique card, so you can just activate this. You can summon up to 3 Thunders from your hand and destroy up to 3 cards. And then this is on the field because it can summon itself. And then you have a monster negation, and you also return a Thunder monster back to your hand for follow-up. That's a crazy combination. You can also use Whisker anytime. Yeah, Whisker is not during the main phase. It does not have to chain to anything. You can just do this in the end phase. You can just let the opponent set up and then pop basically their entire board or all the things you care about if you can pull that off. That is kind of crazy. Now, of course, it is an unlikely combination because so far, but that has a lot of potential to be really, really strong going second. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, because what I'm seeing so far is just like these cards get disproportionately more powerful when you're going second. So I wonder, like, it's not enough, I feel like, yet to go to blind second with the deck, but it is the kind of like bonus effects that I'm looking for when I say like I want cards to be more powerful going second in engine, right? Okay. Grain Blitzclique, level 2. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. You can reveal this card in your hand, then target a spell trap on the field, destroy it, and if you do, special summon a Thunder from your hand. Also, you can't special effect monsters for the rest of this turn except from the hand. If another card is destroyed by card effect while this card is on the field, you can add a Blitzclique spell or Kowloon, Citadel of the Sky, from your deck to your hand. Yeah, dude, maybe this deck wants to go second. Maybe you just want your opponent to have a board so you can start revealing these in your hand to pop everything and get your stuff going. I mean, this card is good. This card is pretty much the equivalent to Surge, but for spell traps, as well as it searches spell traps, and this one searches monsters. But both of these are phenomenal cards when you're playing into a board. And then we have Emmy Blitzclique, which is the last main deck monster, and I don't think they're going to have any extra deck monsters. That wouldn't make much sense. Earth Thunder level 1. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can reveal it, then target a card on the field, destroy it, and if you do, special summon a Thunder from your hand. Also, you cannot special effect monsters for the rest of this turn, except from the hand. If another card is destroyed by card effect while this monster is on the field, you can add a Blitzclique trap from your deck to your hand. We have a Blitzclique Poplar as well. Doesn't this deck have great synergy with the Thunder Rhoda that we just read like a couple days ago? Well, the Thunder Rhoda says you add a Thunder and then you cannot normal summon it, right? Which is like perfect for this deck because all of these work with that, right? So that card is tailor-made for this deck. So that is something we have to keep in mind, right? That this deck is releasing together with basically a Rhoda. That's like keeping in mind that Bonfire came out alongside Snake Eyes or Ryzeal, you know, like that is an important card to have. The monster lineup so far is really good, I would say. I think there's and good, but like it has the potential to be a really annoying go second deck. But I can't decide yet whether I like it or not, because if this is like blind second, but it's mostly removal based, then I think that's okay, because nothing here screams like OTK like Tenpai did. So far I don't really see what it does going first, because they have a lot of effects where you have to destroy cards, and so far we haven't seen any cards that trigger when they're destroyed. For example, Surge Blitzclique, right, needs to destroy a monster in order to get its effect and special summon. They don't have any monsters that benefit by being destroyed. So maybe you would pair it with a normal summon that wants to be destroyed. I don't know if there is one that makes sense. But going first, I don't know how you would get going yet. Like going second, I can see it because you can just start revealing them and pop stuff. But when you go first, it seems a little weird. Maybe it is a blind second deck. All right, and then we have Kowloon, Citadel of the Sky, field spell. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name once per turn. Your monsters, normal or special from the hand, gain 500 attack or defense. Okay, that's a pretty massive boost. During your main phase, you can special a Mech Beast token to your opponent's field, and if you do, add a Blitzclique monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, there you go. That gives you something to destroy both of these. Okay, if this card is if a card is destroyed by your Blitzclique card effect while this card's in your grave, add it to your hand. Okay, so This is basically something you can destroy for free with your grain when you're going first, because you don't care if it goes to the graveyard. It also gives your opponent a token which has multiple different benefits, which first of all, obviously it's something you can destroy with Surge, but also you could use it as like a protection from something like Imperm, right? So that is interesting, and it's a starter because it adds one from deck to hand. So that is a pretty high quality field spell here for the archetype, I would say. Okay. We have a quick play spell, Blitzclique Breakaway. Quick play, you can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. Activate one of these effects. Place a Blitzclique continuous trap from your deck face up. All right, gotta read those. Or return a Thunder monster you control to the hand, then target a card on the field destroyed. Oh, that's awesome. That is an awesome ability for this deck, right? Because they all have like effects in your hand. So being able to like recycle them back to your hand, pop a card, have the monster back in your hand again so you can use it later, dodge stuff like Imperm or Vela, that is a fun card. That is a fun card to play with. Colossus is eating good. All right, Colossus is eating very, very good if we just all collectively stop reading. If we just ignore the fact that every single one of these locks you out of summoning Colossus, then yes, Colossus is eating very good. It's just if we all forget how to read when these cards come out, everyone's going to be summoning Colossus. If we all end up reading the cards, then we can't summon Colossus. But I guess, yeah. If a card is destroyed by your Blitzclique card effect while this card's in your grave, you can add this card to your hand. This is my favorite card so far. This card's awesome. A quick play spell, Interruption, that bounces your stuff back to your hand, pops a card on the field, and then has recursion, adds itself back to your hand. That's an awesome card. That is an awesome card. I love that. Blitzclique Stepped Leader. Continuous spell. You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If a card is destroyed by your Blitzclique card effect, you can target a Thunder monster in your grave, add it to your hand. During your main phase, you can special a Thunder from your hand, then destroy this card. If a card is destroyed by your Blitzclique card effect while this card's in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. Okay, this is not a one-card combo, but this is a very important card potentially for this deck for a couple of reasons. Now, the first thing is, I mean, of course, it gives you recursion, which is neat. But realistically, this effect is worded really well for this deck because it summons a Thunder from your hand and then it destroys itself, which means that all of the monster you summon will see the card being destroyed. And that means you can trigger Surge to search a monster. It triggers Crack to send a Blitzclique spell trap from deck to grave. And it also triggers Grain to add another spell or Kowloon from your deck to your hand, right? So if you have any of the monsters in your hand, even the Trap Searcher, I guess, if you use this, you can summon them from your hand. This destroys itself. And then you immediately get the trigger. And then of course it does give you recursion as well by adding itself back to the hand. Also, it's a very easy way to fulfill the condition of destroying a card by a Blitzclique so that Whiska can also summon. All right. And then we have Blitzclique Return Stroke, Continuous Trap. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. Blitzclicks cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. When your opponent activates a spell card or effect, you can return a Blitzclique to your hand, negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, you can banish this card from your grave, then target a Blitzclique you control or in your grave, return it to the hand. Okay, we have a spell negation in the mix as well. Why? By returning a Blitzclique from field to the hand, which lets you reuse it. Okay, that's powerful. Of course, it is a trap card. You can place a trap for free with the quick play, so you can immediately get a trap online. Still, drawing these is not going to be great, but the Grain can destroy face downs. So you could, in theory, if you draw one of these traps, you could set them and destroy them with Grain. So it could be okay in some scenarios. Okay, and then we have Blitzclique Alternator. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. Monsters your opponent controls lose 300 for each Thunder you control. You can shuffle one other Blitzclique card from your hand or face up on your field into the deck. Add a Thunder with a different name from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your grave, add a Blitzclique spell or Kowloon from your deck to your hand. Okay, so this card is the less fancy endboard piece, but I do think this is still the better card between those two, because this is the one that you actually get immediate value from when you destroy it, because you can like destroying this one with Grain technically also gives you a benefit, but like it adds one from grave to hand, which is not like a starter, right? But if you destroy this one in any way, then you can add a starter from your deck to your hand, right? So that is better. And then the on-field effect is also really neat, right? Being able to just exchange one from the field for any from the deck. It's like what's the Altergeist card called? It's like personal spoofing, but better. Right, it's personal spoofing, but with a bonus graveyard effect and also attack reduction for the opponent, which is pretty good. It also adds any thunder monster. And then down here, okay. Oh, as much as I hate Thunder King Ryo in Yu-Gi-Oh decks these days, that is a pretty good looking alt art, I gotta admit. I like Thunder King Ryo is one of these cards that I'm like 50-50 on it, because back in the day, this is Ankh speech again, but back in the day, I think Thunder King Ryo was a really cool card, because it didn't really, like, I mean, of course, sometimes the Floodgate effect mattered, but for the most part, it was just a very good beat stick that negated special summons. It was more like a solid all-rounder card that usually didn't auto-win games. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. I feel like nowadays in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, the card is a little bit more problematic, but back in the day, it's a really cool card. So there's like half of me that remembers Ryo, what it used to be, and I love it for that. And then the other half of me, you know, knows what it does in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, and I hate it for that. Okay, yeah, this deck obviously has synergy with Thunder King Ryo, because you can special summon it from your hand with these effects, and you could even summon it on turn 0. Why do they want you to play this? I mean, this is one of those times where the synergy is not even hidden, right? Like the synergy here is there, right? They have effects to summon other thunders than themselves from the hand, and they even lock you from summons from hand only. So of course people are gonna look into like what kind of thunder monsters are there that can impact the game from the hand and not from the extra deck. And so yeah, this is a pretty obvious synergy, at least. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure if it's gonna end up being in the deck every time, or like an auto include, but it definitely has synergy with the deck. And there's multiple ways to summon it from your hand, even on turn 0 when you're going second. And you can even search it when you're going first, right? So yeah. Okay, so I'm facing the same problem here that I faced with Clown Clan, because the archetype itself, in my opinion, looks really, really awesome. The archetype, there's a proper lock on this, which I love. You know, no summons from the extra deck, which seems pretty harsh, but I think this is the type of thing that's necessary if they want to make a unique modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck that is powerful and functions in a unique way. You got to make sure you don't turn it into like some sort of combo slop, right? Because otherwise people just start playing it not the way it was intended to, right? This deck, the way people are going to play this deck is going to be the way that they intended, which I think is good. That is a good thing. The second thing that I think is really awesome about this deck is that all of these cards, almost all of these cards, have bonus effects when you're going second, right? Like, reveal this card in your hand, target a monster on the field, destroy it, and then special a thunder from your hand. That is a completely fine effect to get things started when you're going first. But when you're going second, that becomes stronger, right? They have monster removal going second in engine, they have spell trap removal going second in engine, and they even have some turn 0 removal and interruption plays if you draw the right cards. All of this is a pretty good setup for a successful interactive modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck, right? Because it's mainly removal based. You know, you can set up one monster negate going second, but that is at least a 2-card combination. It's even a 3-card combination, I think, because no, it is a 2-card combination. If you have Whiska plus Crack, you get a pop, 2 pops, and a monster negation, which you got a high roll for that, but it's possible. So going second, the deck is like mostly removal based, has very interactive cards, and has a lot of bonus effects, which I think is awesome. Going first, I'm not sure if the deck has enough, but there is some potential there. In general, the archetypal cards themselves seem really fun. But here's the thing, here's the same problem that I have with this deck that I had with Clown Clan, is the obvious synergy with some floodgates, right? In this case, it's Thunder King Ryo, which is getting an awesome looking alt art. Can't deny that. Card looks cool, especially if they decide to make it an overframe. Can you imagine like the beam going all the way out of the card? That would be kind of awesome. I don't think they will, but this is kind of like overframe material right here. The deck itself is awesome, similar to Clown Clan, but it remains to be seen how good is it to play the floodgates in this deck. My gut feeling is that the people are going to play Ryo in this deck, right? Because every single one of them, like imagine your opponent starts with let's say your opponent normal summons Aramasa, right? And you activate Crack to destroy the Aramasa as Chainlink 2. And then you special summon Thunder King Ryo from your hand. And that also stops the Aramasa from searching, because you have summoned it as Chainlink 2, and then Chainlink 1 it tries to add, but it cannot. And it's turn 0, or turn 1 of the game, and so you cannot attack over the Ryo either, which is usually something that some decks can do, at least, to out the Ryo, is you just attack it. However, it's turn 0, so you cannot. You cannot search, and if you ever go into your extra deck, the Ryo has the option to negate it. So Ryo seems like a very, very strong card in this deck. So at this point we're getting to a point where they need to decide how they feel about these like searching floodgates, I feel like, because there's two things you can do, right? You can either stop enabling them, right? Like this is the type of deck that could get Ryo banned even, you know, if it goes out of hand. Fluandereeze got the Wind Barrier statue banned. This deck could get Ryo banned, right? And Clown Clan could get Vanity's Fiend and Vanity's Ruler banned. Like this is something that could happen and should probably happen, right? Because the only alternative for how this is not completely toxic is if they just stop making decks that rely on searching. But realistically, in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, like searching is now part of basically every single deck. There is no deck in modern Yu-Gi-Oh that takes it slow and just never searches. I mean, basically no deck, right? Like most Yu-Gi-Oh decks these days want to do some sort of combo. They want to be some level of consistent, and so they search. You know, there's only very few exceptions. There are some, but most of the decks are going to be really weak into a Ryo. All right, so this is, in my opinion, this is looking good, powerful, unique, which is a good thing in my opinion. It is a unique looking archetype. I'm similar to how I was a fan of the Clown Clans. I'm also a fan of this, and I especially want to point out that they've been putting really harsh restrictions on both of those decks, and they still look good to me, which I think is important to look at. I think it's important to understand that you know, they can make powerful decks even if they are locked and can't be combo slop, which I think is good. However, the synergy with floodgates worries me a little bit, but we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. Sorry for repeating, but isn't adding Mega Zaborg dangerous? Yes, you could add Mega Zaborg with this. Yeah, it is dangerous, but you wouldn't be tributing. Wait, Mega Zaborg, you don't have to tribute a light monster for it. It's just if you tribute, you have to destroy a light monster, right? Or Mega Zaborg, so you always destroy itself. Attribute summon monster, target a monster, destroy it. Then if it was light, both play. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this deck can search Mega Zaborg. This deck doesn't really need its normal summon, so it could genuinely just set up Mega Zaborg instead of Thunder King. Yeah, depending on the matchup. If this card was tributed by tributing a light, you choose. Oh, okay, so your opponent will choose, right? Because you are most likely going to tribute just Earth monsters for it. So your opponent chooses the monsters, Is it random 8? No, it's not random. In this case, you choose yours and your opponent chooses theirs. So if this is a common strategy in this deck, then what people could do is they could play like a couple of extra deck monsters to counter this. Like this, that's one of the problems. If you cannot choose the targets for Zaborg, then your opponent, like in the format that's going to be happening this year with Pedralis Harmonia, your opponent is going to have a lot of like good targets for this, right? They're going to have like all the synchros with effects and stuff. But yeah, for most decks, even if you choose, sending 8 cards away is pretty problematic, right? Like even if it's not your opponent's choice, even if they can't look at your extra deck, it still is pretty hard, you know? Okay. Yeah, I guess that goes in the same vein of like, I like the archetype, but some of the synergies like Thunder King, like Zaborg the Mega Monarch are a little bit concerning, right? But the cards themselves, I think, look awesome. So it's the kind of deck that I want to like, and I hope it doesn't end up just being Floodgate or Auto-Win slop. Similar thing to Clown Clan, right? Like I'm a huge fan of the Clown Clan archetype, but I really hope it's not going to end up being Vanity's Fiend Turbo. But yeah, I guess we gotta hope and see what happens. But the cards themselves are cool. Josh will never read Lightning Rod Lord. All right, dude. Lightning Rod Lord. Lightning Rod Lord. Oh shit, okay. Dude, that's scary. Neither player can activate spell cards during main phase 1. Yes, that is concerning a little bit. That is a little bit concerning. Now, the problem is, one of the things that gets me thinking whether these cards are actually that good in this deck, like Lightning Rod Lord or Thunder King Ryo, is like going first, these cards are okay, but like they are very outable with a battle phase if you can't properly protect them. So just like going normal summon Lightning Rod Lord or normal summoning Thunder King Ryo is like kind of, against some decks it's going to be really strong, but realistically against most decks nowadays, like it's not going to be that good. So they're not really that good going first. I mean, this card is not great going first. Thunder King is pretty good going first. But mainly, the main purpose for those cards in this deck would be going second. And something in my mind just, it feels weird to play these cards in your deck for going second, right? Because they are super reliant on drawing a 2-card combination to hand trap your opponent. Right? It's like, is that really gonna be the optimal thing to do? Like, of course, that the scariest thing imaginable for this deck is like, if your opponent has Crack, Blitzclique, and Lightning Rod Lord in their opening hand, and you start normal summon something, activate effect, and then they activate this, and then summon out Lightning Rod Lord. Yeah, that's really scary. But are they really gonna play Lightning Rod Lord for going second? Like, are you gonna side this in against a spell-heavy deck when you're going second? Is that the way to go? I don't know. I'm really not sure if that's the case. Battery Man? I don't know what that means. I could see it being the case. I don't know. Lord is kind of getting Dinko Sekka against Radiant Typhoon. Radiant Typhoon outs this card pretty easily, no? They just make the Link 2 and push it to the spell trap zone. Monk is the most viable one. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control this special summon monster's quick effect, you contribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. If this card is sent from the field to the grave, you can special a Thunder from your hand in defense position. When your opponent activates a monster effect, we can control special summon monster. Yeah. This is like the most reasonable one so far, because it's not super reliant on being a floodgate, but it's also it has a nice balance to it for going first and going second, I suppose. But it also, like, it can't be a normal summon, which is kind of awkward. I think that's realistically this deck. What normal summon do you think this deck would play? Because none of these are normal summons. And not even something like Thunder King needs to be your normal summon. Like, you can play anything. You can play anything as your normal summon in your deck. Like, what do you choose? Cupsy Yummy? I don't know. I was also thinking like maybe something you would want is something that has a good graveyard effect so that you can destroy it with your search, right? Planet Pathfinder. It could be something like Planet Pathfinder for consistency. That's not unheard of either. Could be something like that. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.